Dear brothers and sisters, let us continue the book reading Reality at Dawn written by Babuji Maharaj, chapter Ways and Means. One of the essentials in the making of a man engaged in spiritual pursuit is moderation. It is a very wide term and covers every phase of human activity. It means balance in all senses and faculties, nothing more or less than what is naturally required at the time for any specific purpose without its slightest impression on the mind. Generally, today we find moderation disturbed in almost all cases. The reason mainly is that we attach undue importance to whatever thing comes to our view and we strengthen it by the force of our thought, with the result that it grows stronger over all others. We cultivate this habit and apply it to different things with varying intensity. The result that follows is nothing but disturbance and mental conflict, and it is the root cause of all our troubles and miseries. Realization is not possible unless moderation and balance are restored. It corresponds closely with the very real thing which existed at the time of creation, when everything was in a perfectly balanced state. Now, after the lapse of time, degeneration crept in. Our senses and faculties lost the balance and everything went into disorder. What we have to do now is to control our senses and faculties in order to restore moderation in them. To cultivate moderation, we have to pay special attention to external ways of life too. Example: gentle and polite language, courteous dealing, sympathy and love with fellow beings, reverence to elders, and revengeful nature, and so on. These habits are greatly helpful in our making. Moderation is a characteristic of nature. If we gain complete moderation, we are in a way in conformity with nature, and it is the very essence of spirituality. Here, Babuji Maharaj is explaining us about moderation. Moderation is the essential thing or a character in the making of a man who is engaged in spiritual pursuit. So, if we think that, okay, moderation is only restricted to our external behavior, then it is not so, because it is very wide term and it covers every phase of human activity. So it means balance in all senses and faculties, nothing more or less than what is naturally required at the time for any specific purpose without its slightest impression on the mind. See, this is very important. Usually what happens, if anybody do any activity, they will pay more importance, though it is not needed to that extent, and they will entangle themselves in that activity or unduly attach themselves to that thing and make their lives miserable. So, Babuji Maharaj is saying that moderation is a balance in all our senses and faculties, and also in undertaking all the works and any activity without making even slightest impression on our mind. So, this moderation should start internally. That is, when we keep our mind in a balanced state of condition, then the thoughts which flow from the mind will also reflect the same nature, and our inner organs or antahkaranas, that is chitta, manassu, buddhi and ahankara, they will also take the same characteristic of moderation, and that will reflect in our external activities. So, moderation is from inner to outer. This is possible through the yogic practices like our search mark system, and by the grace of capable master like our Babuji Maharaj. Further, what Babuji Maharaj is saying that nowadays we find moderation disturbed in almost all cases. People are completely in the disturbed state of condition. So what is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is that we attach undue importance to whatever thing comes to our view, isn't it? We think unnecessarily about the things around us, and we will not stop there only. We will strengthen it by the force of our repeated thinking. As a result of that, what happens? It grows stronger and stronger over all other things. Then, if we cultivate this habit and apply it to different things with varying intensities, then it becomes stronger and grosser. As a result of this, what will happen? Disturbance and mental conflict. This is the root cause for all our troubles and miseries. So, Babuji Maharaj is saying that until and unless one achieves the state of moderation, he cannot get realization. That means one should restore that balance which was there at the beginning of the creation. Before creation, everything was in a perfectly balanced state. Now, after lapse of time, degeneration crept in, and our senses and faculties lost the balance, and everything went into disorder, isn't it? So, what we have to do now? Again, we have to regain that balanced state of condition. For that, we have to control our senses and faculties, not artificially, but in a natural way. How it is possible? It is very much possible by means of proper way of spiritual practice and under the capable guidance of master. So, if we practice meditation, cleaning, prayer, constant remembrance, as said by Babuji Maharaj, then this moderation creeps in us naturally. So, to cultivate moderation, we have to pay special attention to our external ways and means of life also. For example, gentle and polite language. Our speech should never hurt others or prick others. It should be very gentle and polite. and courteous dealing, sympathy and love with our fellow beings, and reverence to elders. Also, unrevengeful nature. If somebody does something for us, we should never feel revengeful. We should excuse them, and at the same time we should love them also. So if we cultivate these external habits in us, then those habits will help us greatly in our making. So moderation is a characteristic of nature. That's what Babuji Maharaj is saying. If we gain complete moderation, we are in a way in conformity with nature, and it is the very essence of spirituality. See, always nature tries to maintain its purity, its state of balance. That's the reason why in some places, when the atmosphere gets polluted, then what nature will do? It starts its work of balancing. For that only floods will come, earthquakes may happen, or some disaster, or some diseases will spread. All these things are the work of nature only. It wants to balance its condition. It wants to regain its original state. So, all these natural calamities will happen. So, similarly, our mind, it wants to be in its original state of condition. That is the balanced state of condition. If something goes against it, then the disturbance sets in and we will be under troubles and miseries. Until we regain our balanced state of condition, this cycle of miseries and troubles will be continued. So, Babuji Maharaj is saying that to realize God, one should achieve that state of moderation. It is one of the important features of a person who is pursuing his spiritual practice. So, dear brethren, let us do our sadhana to achieve this state of condition which leads us to God realization. With this, I conclude today's satsang, and let us know more aspects in the forthcoming satsang. Till then, I take leave. Pranams, Namaste.